Christina, a 25-year-old recent nursing graduate, was struggling with student loan payments when she received a phone call that would test her knowledge of legitimate loan forgiveness programs and teach her valuable lessons about student loan forgiveness scams. The caller claimed she qualified for immediate loan cancellation through a new federal program. Christina had graduated with $48,000 in federal student loans and was working at a community hospital while living with roommates to manage her monthly loan payments of $420. She had been researching loan forgiveness options, but found the legitimate programs complex and time-consuming. The caller identified himself as Federal Loan Specialist Bennett and claimed to be calling from the Student Loan Forgiveness Administration about a new program that could eliminate Christina's entire loan balance within 60 days. Ms. Rodriguez, congratulations on qualifying for the Emergency Healthcare Worker Loan Forgiveness Program that was recently enacted to help nurses and other medical professionals, Bennett said with apparent federal authority and program knowledge. This program can eliminate your entire $48,000 student loan balance as recognition for your essential service during the healthcare crisis. Bennett explained that the program was specifically designed for healthcare workers who had graduated within the past 3 years and were working in community hospitals or other qualifying medical facilities serving underserved populations. Ms. Rodriguez, the Emergency Healthcare Worker Program provides immediate loan forgiveness for nurses working in community hospitals because these facilities serve critical healthcare needs in underserved areas. Bennett continued with apparent program criteria knowledge and healthcare worker benefits. Your employment at Community General Hospital makes you eligible for complete loan forgiveness under this specialized federal initiative. Bennett requested Christina's federal student aid ID, loan servicer information, and employment verification to process her loan forgiveness application and begin the immediate cancellation process for her student loans. Christina was excited about the possibility of loan forgiveness, but was cautious about providing her FSA ID information over the phone, especially to someone she had never heard of before calling. I'm interested in loan forgiveness, but I want to verify this program through my loan servicer before providing my FSA ID, Christina explained to Bennett. Can you provide me with official documentation about this program that I can review before giving you access to my loan account information? Bennett became urgent when Christina requested verification, claiming that the program had limited funding and that delays could result in missing the opportunity for immediate loan forgiveness before funding was exhausted. Ms. Rodriguez, the Emergency Healthcare Worker Program has limited funding that's being distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. Bennett insisted with apparent funding limitations and time-sensitive enrollment. If you don't complete your application today, the funding could be exhausted, and you'll miss this opportunity for complete loan forgiveness. Bennett also claimed that loan servicers weren't fully informed about the new program and that working directly with the Student Loan Forgiveness Administration was the only way to access the specialized healthcare worker benefits. Christina felt pressured by the funding limitations, but decided to contact her loan servicer directly to verify whether any new forgiveness programs existed for healthcare workers before providing her account access information. Christina called her federal loan servicer and learned that no emergency healthcare worker loan forgiveness program existed and that all legitimate federal forgiveness programs are administered through established Department of Education procedures. The loan servicer representative explained that legitimate loan forgiveness programs require extensive documentation and processing time, and that no federal program provides immediate loan cancellation within 60 days. Christina also learned that scammers often target recent graduates with promises of immediate loan forgiveness, and that providing FSA ID information to unauthorized individuals could result in account takeover and fraudulent loan changes. Christina realized that Bennett was attempting to steal her student loan account access information under the pretense of providing loan forgiveness benefits that didn't exist. Christina contacted Bennett to inform him that she had verified the program as fraudulent, but discovered that the phone number was disconnected and that her calls went unanswered. Christina reported the student loan forgiveness scam to the Federal Trade Commission, the Department of Education's fraud hotline, and her state's Attorney General office. She learned that loan forgiveness scams are common and often target healthcare workers and other professionals with promises of specialized programs. The authorities explained that legitimate federal loan forgiveness programs are administered through official Department of Education channels and never require upfront fees or immediate account access for program enrollment. Christina learned that students and graduates should verify loan forgiveness programs through official federal student aid resources and should never provide FSA ID information to unauthorized individuals claiming to represent federal programs. The experience taught Christina to research loan forgiveness options through official government channels and to be suspicious of any unsolicited call claiming immediate loan forgiveness through programs that aren't verifiable through legitimate sources. Christina now educates other nursing graduates about student loan forgiveness scams and emphasizes the importance of using official Department of Education resources to research legitimate forgiveness programs rather than trusting unsolicited calls promising immediate benefits. Brandon, a 32-year-old teacher, received a letter about loan consolidation services that would test his understanding of legitimate loan management and teach him valuable lessons about predatory student loan consolidation scams. The letter promised to reduce his monthly payments by 70% through specialized consolidation programs. Brandon had been teaching for 6 years and carried $35,000 in federal student loans with monthly payments of $315. He had been considering consolidation options to simplify his payments, but was overwhelmed by the various programs and requirements. The letter appeared official with government-style formatting and claimed to be from National Education Loan Services, representing teachers in federal loan consolidation programs that could dramatically reduce monthly payment obligations. Dear Mr. Hamilton, as a public school teacher, you qualify for specialized federal loan consolidation that can reduce your monthly student loan payments from $315 to $95 through the Teacher Payment Reduction Program. The letter stated with apparent program authority and payment reduction benefits. This program is specifically designed to help educators manage their student loan obligations while serving in public education positions. The letter explained that the Teacher Payment Reduction Program was available through federal legislation supporting educators and that Brandon could begin benefiting from reduced payments within 30 days of program enrollment. The Teacher Payment Reduction Program provides immediate payment relief for public school teachers through specialized consolidation that combines all federal loans into a single low-payment plan based on teaching income and years of service. The letter continued with apparent program procedures and teacher-specific benefits. Our education loan specialists understand the complex requirements for teacher consolidation and can guarantee maximum payment reduction for qualifying educators. The letter offered Brandon a free consultation to review his loan consolidation options and begin the application process for immediate payment reduction through the specialized teacher program. Brandon was interested in reducing his monthly payments, but wanted to research consolidation options independently before working with any company claiming to specialize in teacher loan programs. Brandon contacted National Education Loan Services to inquire about their fees and discovered that they charged $800 upfront plus $39 monthly for consolidation services that he could potentially pursue directly with his federal loan servicer. Brandon also researched legitimate federal consolidation programs and learned that direct consolidation loans are available directly from the Department of Education without fees and that income-driven repayment plans can reduce payments based on income. Brandon contacted his federal loan servicer to inquire about consolidation and income-driven payment options and learned that he could access these programs directly without paying third-party companies for services. Brandon realized that National Education Loan Services was charging substantial fees for consolidation services that were available directly from the federal government without cost, and that their specialized teacher program was actually standard federal consolidation marketed with misleading teacher-specific claims. Brandon contacted National Education Loan Services to inform them that he had discovered their services were unnecessary, but received aggressive sales calls attempting to convince him that professional assistance was essential for successful consolidation. Brandon reported the predatory loan consolidation marketing to the Federal Trade Commission, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the Department of Education. He learned that consolidation scams often target teachers and other public service workers with promises of specialized programs. The authorities explained that legitimate federal loan consolidation and income-driven repayment plans are available directly through loan servicers and the Department of Education without fees to third-party companies. Brandon learned that borrowers can access federal loan consolidation and payment reduction programs directly through official government channels and should be suspicious of companies charging fees for services available free from federal sources. The experience taught Brandon to research loan management options through official federal student aid resources and to be cautious of companies claiming specialized programs that aren't clearly different from standard federal loan options. Brandon now educates other teachers about predatory loan consolidation marketing and emphasizes the importance of working directly with federal loan servicers for consolidation and payment reduction rather than paying companies for services available free from government sources. Samantha, a 28-year-old social worker, was contacted about loan rehabilitation services that would test her knowledge of default resolution and teach her valuable lessons about student loan rehabilitation scams targeting borrowers with defaulted loans. The caller claimed her defaulted loans could be immediately restored to good standing. Samantha had defaulted on her federal student loans during a period of unemployment and reduced income, and her loans totaling $22,000 were currently in default status with wage garnishment affecting her new social work position. The caller, who identified himself as Default Resolution Specialist Cooper, claimed to represent the Federal Loan Rehabilitation Center and offered immediate restoration of her loans to good standing through an expedited rehabilitation program. Ms. Chun, your defaulted federal student loans can be immediately removed from default status, and wage garnishment can be stopped within 48 hours through our expedited rehabilitation program, Cooper said with apparent federal authority and default resolution expertise. The Federal Loan Rehabilitation Center was established to help borrowers quickly resolve default situations and restore their loans to good standing. Cooper explained that the expedited rehabilitation program required 3 consecutive payments of $150 to demonstrate good faith, after which her loans would be restored to good standing and removed from default status permanently. Ms. Chun, the expedited rehabilitation program allows defaulted borrowers to restore their loans to good standing in just 3 months instead of the standard 9-month rehabilitation period. Cooper continued with apparent program acceleration benefits and timeline reduction. Once you complete the 3 payments, your default status will be removed, wage garnishment will stop, and you'll regain eligibility for federal financial aid and deferment options. Cooper requested Samantha's loan account information and authorization to begin the expedited rehabilitation program, with her first $150 payment processed immediately through credit card or electronic bank transfer. Samantha was eager to stop wage garnishment and restore her loans to good standing, but was suspicious about paying money to an organization she had never heard of for loan rehabilitation services. I want to resolve my default, but I need to verify this rehabilitation program with my loan servicer before making any payments, Samantha explained to Cooper. Can you provide me with official documentation about the expedited program that I can review with my loan servicer? Cooper became urgent when Samantha requested verification, claiming that the expedited rehabilitation program had limited availability and that delays could result in missing the opportunity for accelerated default resolution. Ms. Chun, the expedited rehabilitation program is only available for a limited time, and standard rehabilitation takes 9 months with higher payment requirements. Cooper insisted with apparent program limitations and standard procedure comparisons. If you don't enroll in the expedited program today, you'll be required to use the standard rehabilitation process, which will take much longer and cost significantly more. Cooper also claimed that loan servicers weren't fully informed about the expedited program and that working directly with the Federal Loan Rehabilitation Center was necessary to access the accelerated timeline and reduced payment options. Samantha felt pressured by the time limitations but decided to contact her loan servicer directly to verify rehabilitation options before making any payments to the rehabilitation center. Samantha contacted her federal loan servicer and learned that loan rehabilitation is available directly through established servicers and that no federal loan rehabilitation center exists as an authorized federal agency. The loan servicer representative explained that legitimate loan rehabilitation requires 9 consecutive on-time payments and that no federal program provides three-payment rehabilitation or immediate default resolution. Samantha also learned that loan rehabilitation services are provided directly by loan servicers without fees to third-party companies, and that borrowers can begin rehabilitation by contacting their servicers directly. Samantha realized that Cooper was fraudulently claiming to represent federal loan rehabilitation programs while attempting to collect payments for services that were either non-existent or available directly from legitimate loan servicers. Samantha contacted Cooper to inform him that she had verified the program as fraudulent, but discovered that the phone number was no longer in service and that the organization had no legitimate contact information. Samantha reported the fraudulent loan rehabilitation service to the Department of Education, the Federal Trade Commission, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. She learned that rehabilitation scams often target borrowers in default by promising accelerated resolution timelines. The authorities explained that legitimate loan rehabilitation is administered through established federal loan servicers and that borrowers should be suspicious of third-party companies claiming to offer expedited rehabilitation programs. Samantha learned that borrowers with defaulted loans should contact their loan servicers directly for rehabilitation options and should never pay third-party companies for rehabilitation services available directly from federal sources. The experience taught Samantha to research default resolution options through official federal loan servicers and to be cautious of companies claiming specialized rehabilitation programs that promise faster resolution than standard federal procedures. Samantha now educates other social workers about loan rehabilitation scams and emphasizes the importance of working directly with federal loan servicers for default resolution rather than paying companies claiming expedited rehabilitation services. Marcus, a 35-year-old graphic designer, received an email about loan discharge services that would test his understanding of legitimate discharge programs and teach him valuable lessons about fraudulent disability discharge scams targeting borrowers with medical conditions. The email claimed he qualified for total loan discharge based on disability status. Marcus had been managing both federal student loans and some mobility challenges from a workplace injury, but he was still working and earning income as a freelance graphic designer, so he was surprised to receive an email claiming disability discharge eligibility. The email appeared professional with official-looking formatting and claimed to be from Disability Discharge Services, representing borrowers in federal disability discharge applications that could eliminate student loan obligations entirely. Dear Mr. Patterson, medical records indicate that you may qualify for total and permanent disability discharge that can eliminate your entire federal student loan balance based on your documented medical condition. The email stated with apparent medical review authority and discharge qualification knowledge. The TPD discharge program provides complete loan forgiveness for borrowers who meet federal disability criteria. The email explained that disability discharge applications were complex and that professional assistance was essential for successful approval, especially since many qualified borrowers were denied due to improper application procedures. The total and permanent disability discharge application process involves extensive medical documentation and federal review procedures that require specialized expertise to ensure approval. The email continued with apparent application complexity and professional assistance benefits. Our disability discharge specialists have a 95% success rate in obtaining loan discharge approvals for qualified borrowers. The email offered Marcus a free consultation to review his medical records and determine his eligibility for disability discharge, along with professional assistance in preparing and submitting his discharge application. Marcus was interested in learning about discharge options, but was uncertain whether his medical condition qualified for disability discharge and wanted to research the requirements independently before working with any company. Marcus contacted Disability Discharge Services to inquire about their fees and learned that they charged $1,200 upfront plus 25% of the discharged loan amount for disability discharge application assistance. Marcus also researched federal disability discharge requirements and discovered that TPD discharge requires certification that the borrower is unable to engage in substantial gainful activity due to physical or mental impairment. Marcus realized that he did not qualify for disability discharge since he was still working and earning income. and that the company was attempting to charge substantial fees for discharge applications that would likely be denied based on his continued employment. Marcus contacted the Department of Education to verify disability discharge requirements and learned that borrowers can apply for TPD discharge directly without paying third-party companies for application assistance. Marcus also learned that disability discharge requires physician certification of total and permanent disability and that working borrowers typically don't qualify for discharge based on federal guidelines. Marcus realized that disability discharge services was targeting borrowers with medical conditions by claiming discharge eligibility without properly assessing whether they met federal qualification requirements. Marcus contacted disability discharge services to inform them that he didn't qualify for disability discharge, but received aggressive sales calls claiming that their specialists could obtain approvals even for borderline cases. Marcus reported the misleading disability discharge marketing to the Department of Education, the Federal Trade Commission, and his state's Attorney General office. He learned that discharge scams often target borrowers with medical conditions by promising discharge eligibility without proper qualification assessment. The authorities explained that legitimate disability discharge applications can be submitted directly to loan servicers and that borrowers should carefully review qualification requirements before paying companies for application assistance. Marcus learned that borrowers should research discharge qualification requirements independently and should be suspicious of companies claiming high approval rates without properly assessing individual qualification for federal discharge programs. The experience taught Marcus to understand disability discharge requirements and to be cautious of companies marketing discharge services without clearly explaining the strict qualification criteria for federal discharge programs. Marcus now educates other freelance professionals about disability discharge scams and emphasizes the importance of researching discharge requirements through official federal sources rather than trusting companies claiming guaranteed discharge approvals. Jessica, a 29-year-old librarian, was approached about loan payment reduction services that would test her knowledge of income-driven repayment and teach her valuable lessons about student loan payment reduction scams targeting public service workers. The caller promised to reduce her payments to zero through specialized public service programs. Jessica worked at a public library and had been making income-driven payments on her federal student loans, but her monthly payment of $180 was still challenging on her librarian's salary, making her interested in further payment reduction options. The caller, who identified himself as Public Service Loan Specialist Turner, claimed to represent the Government Employee Loan Assistance Program and offered immediate payment reduction to $0 for qualifying public service employees. Ms. Williams, as a public library employee, you qualify for the Government Employee Zero Payment Program that can reduce your student loan payments to $0 per month while maintaining progress toward loan forgiveness, Turner said, with apparent public service authority and payment elimination benefits. This program is specifically designed for government and public service employees who serve essential community functions. Turner explained that the zero payment program was different from standard income-driven repayment because it provided immediate payment relief while maintaining forgiveness progress, unlike regular forbearance or deferment options. Ms. Williams, the Government Employee Zero Payment Program allows qualifying public service workers to make $0 payments while still receiving credit toward public service loan forgiveness. Turner continued with apparent program benefits and forgiveness coordination. This program recognizes that public service employees often have lower incomes but provide essential community services that deserve special loan payment consideration. Turner requested Jessica's federal student aid ID and loan servicer information to immediately enroll her in the zero payment program and stop her current monthly payments within one billing cycle. Jessica was interested in reducing her payments, but was cautious about providing her FSA ID to someone claiming to represent a program she had never heard of through official student aid channels. I'm interested in payment reduction, but I want to verify this program with my loan servicer before providing my account access information, Jessica explained to Turner. Can you provide me with official documentation about this government employee program? Turner became insistent when Jessica requested verification, claiming that the program was new and that loan servicers weren't fully trained on the enrollment procedures, making direct enrollment through his office necessary for accessing the benefits. Ms. Williams, The Government Employee Zero Payment Program is a new initiative, and loan servicers are still implementing the enrollment procedures. Turner insisted with apparent program newness and implementation challenges. Working directly with our enrollment specialists ensures that you receive immediate access to the zero payment benefits without delays caused by servicer training issues. Turner also claimed that the program had limited enrollment periods and that missing the current enrollment window would require waiting 6 months for the next opportunity to access zero payment benefits. Jessica felt pressured by the enrollment limitations but decided to contact her loan servicer directly to verify whether any new programs existed for public service employees before providing account access information. Jessica contacted her federal loan servicer and learned that no government employee zero payment program existed and that income-driven repayment plans were the primary method for reducing payments based on income. The loan servicer representative explained that borrowers working in public service could potentially qualify for $0 payments through existing income-driven plans if their income was low enough, but that this was calculated through standard federal procedures. Jessica also learned that public service loan forgiveness required working for qualifying employers while making payments under income-driven plans, and that no special zero payment program existed for government employees. Jessica realized that Turner was fraudulently claiming to represent federal loan programs while attempting to gain access to her student loan accounts under the pretense of providing payment reduction benefits. Jessica contacted Turner to inform him that she had verified the program as non-existent, but discovered that the phone number was disconnected and that her calls went unanswered. Jessica reported the fraudulent payment reduction service to the Department of Education, the Federal Trade Commission, and her library system's Human Resources Department. She learned that payment reduction scams often target public service workers with promises of specialized programs. The authorities explained that legitimate income-driven repayment plans are available directly through loan servicers and that no special zero payment programs exist exclusively for government or public service employees. Jessica learned that public service workers should research payment reduction options through official federal student aid resources and should be suspicious of companies claiming specialized programs not available through standard federal procedures. The experience taught Jessica to verify loan payment programs through official government channels and to be cautious of any service claiming account access for programs that aren't verifiable through legitimate federal sources. Jessica now educates other library employees about student loan payment reduction scams and emphasizes the importance of working directly with federal loan servicers for income-driven repayment rather than trusting companies claiming specialized public service programs. David, a 31-year-old paramedic, received a text message about emergency loan relief that would test his understanding of legitimate emergency assistance and teach her valuable lessons about fake emergency relief programs targeting essential workers. The text claimed he qualified for immediate loan suspension due to his essential worker status. David worked for a county emergency services department and had been making payments on his federal student loans throughout the pandemic, but the text message suggested that essential workers could suspend payments without affecting their loan status. The text message claimed to be from Essential Worker Relief Services and promised immediate loan payment suspension for healthcare workers, first responders, and other essential service providers affected by emergency situations. Urgent. Essential workers qualify for immediate student loan payment suspension. Stop payments now while maintaining good standing. Text STOP to opt out or call 1-800-555-0187 for instant relief. The text message stated with apparent emergency authority and essential worker benefits. The message emphasized that the relief program was temporary and that essential workers needed to act quickly to secure payment suspension benefits before the emergency relief period expired. David was interested in temporary payment relief, but was cautious about responding to unsolicited text messages claiming federal relief programs, especially since he hadn't heard about such programs through his employer or official sources. David called the number provided in the text message and spoke with someone who identified himself as Emergency Relief Coordinator Johnson and immediately offered to suspend David's loan payments under the Essential Worker Emergency Relief Act. Mr. Davis, essential workers like paramedics qualify for immediate payment suspension under federal emergency legislation that recognizes the financial challenges facing first responders. Johnson said with apparent emergency legislation knowledge and essential worker recognition. We can suspend your loan payments immediately and ensure that your loans remain in good standing while you're serving your community during emergency situations. Johnson explained that the payment suspension could last up to 12 months and that David's loans would remain in good standing with no negative credit reporting or interest accumulation during the suspension period. Mr. Davis, the Essential Worker Emergency Relief Act provides comprehensive protection for first responders by suspending payments while preventing any negative consequences to loan status or credit scores. Johnson continued with apparent legislation benefits and protection features. This program ensures that essential workers can focus on serving their communities without worrying about student loan payments during emergency periods. Johnson requested David's loan account information and a processing fee of $195 to immediately implement the payment suspension and ensure that his loans were properly protected under the emergency relief program. David was interested in payment relief, but was suspicious about paying a processing fee for what seemed like it should be a free federal emergency program for essential workers. I'm interested in payment relief, but I don't understand why there would be a processing fee for a federal emergency program, David explained to Johnson. Can you provide me with official documentation about this relief act that I can review before paying any fees? Johnson became urgent when David questioned the processing fee, claiming that emergency relief programs required administrative processing to ensure proper implementation and that the fee covered federal compliance costs. Mr. Davis, emergency relief programs involve complex federal procedures that require specialized processing to ensure compliance with emergency legislation. Johnson insisted with apparent administrative requirements and compliance procedures. The processing fee covers federal administrative costs and ensures that your relief is implemented correctly without delays or complications. Johnson also claimed that the emergency relief program had strict deadlines and that missing the enrollment window would prevent David from accessing payment suspension benefits even if emergency situations continued. David felt pressured by the deadline claims, but decided to research essential worker relief programs through official federal sources before paying any processing fees for emergency assistance. David contacted the Department of Education to verify essential worker relief programs and learned that no Essential Worker Emergency Relief Act existed and that legitimate emergency assistance didn't require processing fees. David also contacted his federal loan servicer to inquire about emergency payment options and learned about legitimate forbearance and deferment programs that were available directly without fees to third-party companies. David realized that Johnson was fraudulently claiming to represent federal emergency relief programs while attempting to collect processing fees for services that either didn't exist or were available directly from loan servicers. David reported the fraudulent emergency relief service to the Federal Trade Commission, the Department of Education, and his Emergency Services Department. He learned that emergency relief scams often target essential workers by claiming specialized programs during crisis situations. The authorities explained that legitimate federal student loan relief programs are administered directly through loan servicers and that borrowers should be suspicious of companies claiming emergency relief programs that require processing fees. David learned that essential workers should research emergency assistance through official federal student aid resources and should be cautious of text messages or calls claiming immediate relief through programs that aren't verifiable through legitimate sources. The experience taught David to verify emergency relief programs through official government channels and to be suspicious of any service claiming federal authority while requesting processing fees for emergency assistance. David now educates other first responders about emergency relief scams and emphasizes the importance of working directly with federal loan servicers for legitimate emergency assistance rather than paying companies claiming specialized essential worker programs. Angela, a 26-year-old marketing coordinator, encountered a loan modification service that would test her knowledge of legitimate loan changes and teach her valuable lessons about student loan modification scams targeting recent graduates. The company claimed they could permanently reduce her interest rates through federal modification programs. Angela had federal student loans with interest rates ranging from 4.5% to 6.8% and was interested in legitimate options for reducing her interest costs to make her loans more manageable on her entry-level marketing salary. The company, which called itself Federal Loan Modification Services, contacted Angela by phone and claimed that recent federal legislation allowed permanent interest rate reduction for borrowers who met specific qualification criteria. Ms. Thompson, recent changes to federal student loan regulations allow qualifying borrowers to permanently reduce their interest rates to 2.5% through the Graduate Interest Rate Modification Program, the representative said with apparent federal authority and legislative knowledge. This program is designed to help recent graduates manage their loan costs during the early years of their careers. The representative explained that the modification program was available for borrowers who had graduated within the past 3 years and were working in entry-level positions, making Angela eligible for significant interest rate reduction. Ms. Thompson, the Graduate Interest Rate Modification Program recognizes that recent graduates often struggle with high interest rates during their early career years when salaries are lower. The representative continued with apparent program rationale and graduate assistance benefits. Permanent interest rate reduction to 2.5% can save you thousands of dollars over the life of your loans, while making monthly payments more manageable. The company offered to handle Angela's modification application for a fee of $895 and promised that her interest rates would be permanently reduced within 45 days of application submission. Angela was interested in reducing her interest costs, but wanted to research federal loan modification programs independently before paying substantial fees for application assistance. Angela contacted Federal Loan Modification Services to request written information about the modification program and learned that they required immediate payment to begin the application process and couldn't provide detailed program information without payment. Angela researched federal student loan modification programs and discovered that interest rate reduction options were extremely limited and that no graduate interest rate modification program existed through federal student aid programs. Angela contacted her federal loan servicer to inquire about interest rate reduction options and learned that federal student loan interest rates are set by law and cannot be permanently modified through servicer or third-party programs. Angela also learned that the only way to reduce federal student loan interest rates was through refinancing with private lenders, which would eliminate federal loan benefits and protections. Angela realized that Federal Loan Modification Services was fraudulently claiming to provide interest rate modification services that weren't available through federal student loan programs and charging fees for services that couldn't be delivered. Angela contacted the company to inform them that she had verified the modification program as non-existent, but received aggressive sales calls claiming that the program was new and that missing the opportunity would result in losing eligibility for rate reduction. Angela reported the fraudulent loan modification service to the Department of Education, the Federal Trade Commission, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. She learned that modification scams often target recent graduates with promises of interest rate reductions that aren't available through federal programs. The authorities explained that federal student loan interest rates are set by Congress and cannot be modified through third-party companies or specialized programs claiming federal authority. Angela learned that borrowers interested in interest rate reduction should research refinancing options through legitimate private lenders rather than paying companies claiming federal modification programs that don't exist. The experience taught Angela to understand federal student loan interest rate policies and to be suspicious of companies claiming modification services that aren't available through official federal student aid programs. Angela now educates other recent graduates about loan modification scams and emphasizes the importance of researching interest rate options through official federal sources rather than trusting companies claiming specialized modification programs. Robert, a 34-year-old firefighter, received a letter about loan cancellation services that would test his understanding of legitimate cancellation programs and teach him valuable lessons about fraudulent school closure discharge scams. The letter claimed his loans could be canceled due to his school's accreditation issues. Robert had completed his fire science degree at a for-profit college several years earlier and had been making payments on his federal student loans without any problems, so he was surprised to receive a letter claiming loan cancellation eligibility. The letter appeared official with legal-style formatting and claimed to be from Education Fraud Recovery Law Firm, representing students whose schools had engaged in fraudulent practices that made their loans eligible for cancellation. Dear Mr. Martinez, recent investigations have revealed that your educational institution engaged in fraudulent accreditation practices that make your federal student loans eligible for complete cancellation under the Closed School Discharge Program. The letter stated with apparent legal authority and fraud investigation knowledge. Our education law specialists can help you recover the money you paid for fraudulent education and eliminate your remaining loan obligations. The letter explained that many for-profit colleges had been found to have fraudulent accreditation and that students from these institutions were entitled to loan cancellation and refund of payments made on canceled loans. Students who attended schools with fraudulent accreditation are entitled to closed school discharge even if they completed their programs, because the education they received was based on fraudulent representations about accreditation and career outcomes. The letter continued with apparent discharge eligibility knowledge and legal interpretation. Our law firm specializes in recovering these fraudulent education costs and eliminating the student loan debt that resulted from fraudulent educational programs. The letter offered Robert a free consultation to review his eligibility for loan cancellation and promised that they could obtain complete discharge of his loans plus refund of any payments he had already made. Robert was interested in learning about loan cancellation options, but wanted to research his school's accreditation status and federal discharge programs before working with any law firm claiming fraud recovery services. Robert contacted Education Fraud Recovery Law Firm to inquire about their fees and learned that they charged 33% of any loan amount discharged plus 50% of any refund payments recovered from the Department of Education. Robert researched his school's accreditation status and discovered that while the school had faced some regulatory challenges, it maintained proper accreditation and had not been subject to closure or fraud findings. Robert also researched federal discharge programs and learned that closed school discharge is only available when schools actually close and that completing a program generally prevents eligibility for discharge based on school closure. Robert contacted the Department of Education to verify his school status and learned that his institution remained properly accredited and that no fraud findings had been made that would affect student loan obligations. Robert realized that Education Fraud Recovery Law Firm was making false claims about his school's accreditation status and discharge eligibility in order to collect fees for discharge applications that would likely be denied. Robert contacted the law firm to inform them that his school maintained proper accreditation, but received aggressive sales calls claiming that accreditation fraud was often hidden and that professional investigation was necessary to uncover fraudulent practices. Robert reported the fraudulent discharge marketing to the Department of Education, his state's bar association, and the Federal Trade Commission. He learned that discharge scams often target students from for-profit colleges with false claims about school fraud or closure. The authorities explained that legitimate school-related discharge programs have specific eligibility requirements and that students should verify school status through official Department of Education databases before pursuing discharge applications. Robert learned that borrowers should research discharge eligibility through official federal sources and should be suspicious of law firms or companies claiming school fraud without clear evidence of actual closure or verified fraudulent practices. The experience taught Robert to verify school accreditation status independently and to be cautious of companies claiming discharge eligibility based on unverified claims about school fraud or accreditation problems. Robert now educates other firefighters about fraudulent discharge marketing and emphasizes the importance of researching discharge programs through official federal channels rather than trusting companies making unsubstantiated claims about school fraud. Michelle, a 30-year-old accountant, was contacted about loan tax services that would test her knowledge of loan tax implications and teach her valuable lessons about student loan tax scams targeting borrowers with forgiven loans. The caller claimed she owed taxes on discharged loan amounts and needed immediate tax resolution services. Michelle had successfully completed public service loan forgiveness the previous year and had her remaining federal student loans discharged, but she hadn't considered any tax implications of the loan forgiveness. The caller, who identified himself as Tax Resolution Specialist Adams, claimed to be from student loan tax services, and warned Michelle that she owed federal taxes on her forgiven loan amount and faced serious penalties if not resolved immediately. Ms. Foster, forgiven student loans are considered taxable income by the IRS, and you owe approximately $8,400 in federal taxes on your $42,000 loan discharge that must be paid immediately to avoid penalties and interest charges, Adams said with apparent tax law knowledge and IRS obligation authority. The IRS is actively pursuing collection action against borrowers who received loan forgiveness and failed to report the discharge as taxable income. Adams explained that loan forgiveness created immediate tax obligations and that borrowers who didn't pay taxes on discharged amounts faced wage garnishment, asset seizure, and substantial penalties from the IRS. Ms. Foster, the IRS treats forgiven student loans as taxable income in the year of discharge, and failure to pay these taxes immediately results in penalties of 25% plus interest charges that can double the amount owed. Adams continued with apparent IRS penalty knowledge and collection procedures. Student Loan Tax Services specializes in negotiating with the IRS to resolve these tax obligations and prevent collection action against borrowers who received loan forgiveness. Adams offered to negotiate a settlement with the IRS for Michelle's loan forgiveness taxes for a fee of $1,500 plus 20% of any amount saved through negotiation with the IRS. Michelle was concerned about potential tax obligations, but was uncertain about whether public service loan forgiveness created taxable income and wanted to research the tax implications independently. I want to understand my tax obligations, but I need to research whether PSLF forgiveness is actually taxable before paying for tax resolution services, Michelle explained to Adams. Can you provide me with specific IRS documentation about loan forgiveness tax requirements? Adams became urgent when Michelle requested documentation, claiming that the IRS was actively pursuing collection action against borrowers with forgiven loans, and that delays could result in immediate wage garnishment and asset seizure. Ms. Foster, the IRS has identified borrowers who received loan forgiveness and is actively pursuing collection action for unpaid taxes on discharged amounts. Adams insisted with apparent IRS enforcement knowledge and collection urgency. If you don't resolve this tax obligation immediately, the IRS will begin wage garnishment within 30 days, and you'll face much higher penalties and collection costs. Adams also claimed that Student Loan Tax Services had exclusive expertise in loan forgiveness tax issues, and that working with general tax professionals would result in higher costs and unsuccessful resolution attempts. Michelle felt pressured by the collection threats, but decided to research loan forgiveness tax implications through official IRS resources before paying for specialized tax resolution services. Michelle contacted the IRS directly to inquire about tax obligations related to public service loan forgiveness and learned that PSLF discharge is specifically excluded from taxable income under federal tax law. The IRS representative explained that most federal loan forgiveness programs, including PSLF, do not create taxable income and that borrowers don't owe taxes on amounts discharged through these programs. Michelle also researched tax implications of loan forgiveness and confirmed that public service loan forgiveness is not considered taxable income and that no tax obligations resulted from her loan discharge. Michelle realized that Adams was providing false information about PSLF tax implications and attempting to collect fees for tax resolution services that weren't needed based on her actual tax situation. Michelle contacted Adams to inform him that she had verified PSLF forgiveness as non-taxable, but received aggressive calls claiming that IRS policies were complex and that professional representation was necessary to ensure proper tax treatment. Michelle reported the fraudulent loan tax service to the IRS, the Federal Trade Commission, and the Department of Education. She learned that tax scams often target borrowers with loan forgiveness by falsely claiming tax obligations that don't exist. The authorities explained that federal loan forgiveness programs generally don't create taxable income, and that borrowers should verify tax implications through official IRS resources rather than paying companies claiming specialized expertise. Michelle learned that borrowers should research loan forgiveness tax implications through official tax resources and should be suspicious of companies claiming immediate tax obligations related to federal loan discharge programs. The experience taught Michelle to verify tax information through official IRS channels and to be cautious of companies claiming specialized knowledge about loan forgiveness tax issues that contradict established federal tax policies. Michelle now educates other public service workers about loan forgiveness tax scams and emphasizes the importance of researching tax implications through official sources rather than trusting companies making false claims about forgiveness tax obligations. Timothy, a 27-year-old medical technician, encountered a loan repayment assistance program that would test his understanding of legitimate employer benefits and teach him valuable lessons about fake employer loan assistance scams. He received information about a program that claimed his hospital qualified for federal loan repayment matching. Timothy worked at a nonprofit hospital and had heard about loan repayment assistance programs for healthcare workers, so he was interested when he received information about federal programs that could help reduce his student loan obligations. The information came from Healthcare Worker Assistance Program and claimed that his hospital participated in federal loan repayment matching that could provide up to $25,000 in loan repayment assistance for qualifying medical professionals. Dear Mr. Clark, your employer Regional Medical Center participates in the Federal Healthcare Worker Loan Repayment Program that provides matching funds for employee student loan payments. The letter stated with apparent employer participation knowledge and federal program authority. This program can provide up to $25,000 in loan repayment assistance over 3 years for qualifying healthcare professionals working at participating nonprofit medical facilities. The letter explained that the program was designed to support healthcare worker retention in nonprofit hospitals and that Timothy's position as a medical technician made him eligible for substantial loan repayment assistance. The Federal Healthcare Worker Loan Repayment Program recognizes the critical role of medical technicians in nonprofit healthcare facilities and provides loan repayment matching to support career stability in essential healthcare positions. The letter continued with apparent program purpose and technician eligibility. Your 3 years of service at Regional Medical Center makes you eligible for maximum loan repayment assistance under this federal initiative. The letter instructed Timothy to contact the Healthcare Worker Assistance Program to begin his application for loan repayment matching and to verify his eligibility for immediate assistance benefits. Timothy was excited about potential loan repayment assistance, but wanted to verify the program with his hospital's Human Resources Department before providing personal information or beginning any application process. Timothy contacted his hospital's HR department to inquire about federal loan repayment programs and learned that while they offered some loan assistance benefits, they had no knowledge of the specific program mentioned in the letter. Timothy also researched federal healthcare worker loan repayment programs and discovered that most legitimate programs are administered through official federal agencies and require direct application through government channels. Timothy decided to contact Healthcare Worker Assistance Program to learn more about their services and discovered that they required a $350 application fee to begin processing his loan repayment application. Timothy researched legitimate federal loan repayment programs and learned that most authentic programs don't require application fees and are administered directly through federal agencies or established employers. Timothy realized that Healthcare Worker Assistance Program was likely fraudulent and was attempting to collect application fees for loan repayment assistance that either didn't exist or wasn't available through their organization. Timothy contacted his hospital's benefits administrator to verify whether Regional Medical Center actually participated in any federal loan repayment matching programs and learned that they had no such partnerships. Timothy also discovered that the Healthcare Worker Assistance Program had no official connection to federal agencies and that legitimate loan repayment programs would be administered through his hospital's established benefits processes. Timothy contacted Healthcare Worker Assistance Program to inform them that he had verified their program as unauthorized, but received aggressive sales calls claiming that the program was new and that his hospital wasn't fully informed about available federal assistance. Timothy reported the fraudulent loan assistance program to the Federal Trade Commission, the Department of Education, and his hospital's security department. He learned that fake employer assistance scams often target healthcare workers with promises of federal matching programs. The authorities explained that legitimate employer loan assistance programs are administered through established benefit systems, and that employees should verify assistance programs through official employer channels. Timothy learned that healthcare workers should research loan assistance programs through their employer's HR departments and should be suspicious of outside organizations claiming employer participation in federal programs. The experience taught Timothy to verify employer benefits through official company channels and to be cautious of outside organizations claiming federal assistance programs that aren't confirmed by legitimate employer sources. Timothy now educates other medical technicians about fake employer assistance scams and emphasizes the importance of verifying loan assistance programs through official employer benefits departments rather than trusting outside organizations claiming federal partnerships. Sarah, a 33-year-old veterinarian, received a call about professional loan programs that would test her knowledge of legitimate professional assistance and teach her valuable lessons about professional license loan scams targeting licensed professionals. The caller claimed veterinarians qualified for special loan benefits due to their professional licensing. Sarah had substantial student loans from veterinary school and was interested in any legitimate programs that might provide assistance for veterinary professionals, especially since she worked at a nonprofit animal shelter serving low-income communities. The caller, who identified himself as Professional License Loan Specialist Wilson, claimed to represent the National Professional Licensing Board and offered special loan benefits for licensed veterinarians serving nonprofit organizations. Dr. Henderson, licensed veterinarians working in nonprofit animal care facilities qualify for the Professional Service Loan Benefit Program that can reduce your loan obligations by up to 60% through federal professional licensing incentives, Wilson said, with apparent licensing authority and professional recognition benefits. This program recognizes the essential community service provided by veterinarians working in nonprofit animal welfare organizations. Wilson explained that the program was designed to support professional retention in nonprofit service and that Sarah's veterinary license and nonprofit employment made her eligible for substantial loan reduction benefits. Dr. Henderson, the Professional Service Loan Benefit Program provides loan reduction for licensed professionals who serve nonprofit organizations because these positions often pay less than private practice but provide essential community services. Wilson continued with apparent program rationale and nonprofit service recognition. Your work at the animal shelter makes you eligible for maximum loan benefits under this professional licensing initiative. Wilson requested Sarah's veterinary license number and loan account information to verify her eligibility and begin processing her application for professional loan benefits through the National Professional Licensing Board. Sarah was interested in professional loan assistance, but was cautious about providing her license number and loan information to an organization she had never heard of through veterinary professional channels. I'm interested in professional loan assistance, but I want to verify this program through veterinary professional organizations before providing my licensing and loan information, Sarah explained to Wilson. Can you provide me with documentation about this program that I can review with veterinary associations? Wilson became insistent when Sarah requested verification, claiming that the program was administered through federal licensing oversight and that veterinary associations weren't fully informed about available professional benefits. Dr. Henderson, the Professional Service Loan Benefit Program is administered through federal professional licensing oversight, not veterinary associations, Wilson insisted, with apparent federal administration authority and professional oversight knowledge. Veterinary associations focus on professional standards rather than federal loan benefits, so they may not be fully informed about available professional assistance programs. Wilson also claimed that the program had limited funding and that delays in application could result in missing the opportunity for loan reduction benefits before funding was exhausted. Sarah felt pressured by the funding limitations, but decided to research professional loan programs through official veterinary associations and federal sources before providing any licensing or account information. Sarah contacted the American Veterinary Medical Association to inquire about professional loan assistance programs and learned that while some programs existed for veterinarians in underserved areas, no national professional licensing board administered loan benefits. Sarah also researched federal loan assistance for veterinarians and discovered that legitimate programs were administered through established federal agencies and veterinary professional organizations, not through unknown licensing boards. Sarah realized that Wilson was fraudulently claiming to represent professional licensing authorities while attempting to collect her license information and loan account access for potentially fraudulent purposes. Sarah contacted Wilson to inform him that she had verified the program as non-existent, but discovered that the phone number was no longer in service and that the organization had no legitimate contact information. Sarah reported the fraudulent professional loan service to the American Veterinary Medical Association, the Federal Trade Commission, and her state's veterinary licensing board. She learned that professional license scams often target licensed professionals with promises of specialized benefits. The authorities explained that legitimate professional loan assistance programs are administered through established professional organizations and federal agencies, not through unknown licensing boards claiming federal authority. Sarah learned that licensed professionals should verify assistance programs through official professional associations and should be suspicious of organizations claiming federal licensing oversight that isn't verifiable through legitimate sources. The experience taught Sarah to research professional benefits through official veterinary channels and to be cautious of any organization claiming licensing authority while requesting professional license information for unverified programs. Sarah now educates other veterinarians about professional license scams and emphasizes the importance of verifying assistance programs through official veterinary associations rather than trusting unknown organizations claiming federal licensing benefits. Kenneth, a 36-year-old police officer, was approached about military service loan benefits that would test his understanding of legitimate military assistance and teach him valuable lessons about fake military benefit scams targeting law enforcement. The caller claimed police officers qualified for military-style loan benefits due to their public safety service. Kenneth had served briefly in the National Guard before becoming a police officer and had federal student loans from his criminal justice degree, making him interested in any legitimate assistance available for public safety professionals. The caller, who identified himself as Military Benefits Coordinator Thompson, claimed to represent the Public Safety Military Benefits Program and offered military-style loan assistance for law enforcement officers with any military service background. Officer Jackson, law enforcement professionals with military service qualify for enhanced loan benefits under the Public Safety Military Benefits Program that provides military-style loan assistance for police officers serving their communities, Thompson said, with apparent military benefits authority and public safety recognition. This program recognizes that police work is similar to military service and that officers with military backgrounds deserve continued military-style benefits. Thompson explained that the program provided loan forgiveness and payment reduction benefits similar to military loan assistance programs, but specifically designed for law enforcement officers who had transitioned from military to civilian public safety service. Officer Jackson, the Public Safety Military Benefits Program provides the same loan benefits as military service programs because police work involves similar risks and community service responsibilities as military duty. Thompson continued with apparent program equivalency and service recognition benefits. Your National Guard service combined with police work makes you eligible for enhanced military-style loan assistance that can significantly reduce your student loan obligations. Thompson requested Kenneth's military service records and loan account information to verify his eligibility and begin processing his application for military-style loan benefits through the Public Safety Program. Kenneth was interested in military-style loan assistance, but was cautious about providing military records to an organization that wasn't clearly connected to official military or veteran services. I'm interested in military loan benefits, but I want to verify this program through official military or veteran services before providing my service records, Kenneth explained to Thompson. Can you provide me with documentation about this program that I can review with Veteran Affairs or Military Assistance offices? Thompson became evasive when Kenneth requested verification, claiming that the program was administered through public safety oversight rather than traditional military channels and that veteran services weren't fully informed about law enforcement benefits. Officer Jackson, the Public Safety Military Benefits Program is administered through public safety federal oversight, not traditional military channels. Thompson insisted with apparent alternative administration authority and specialized oversight knowledge. This program is specifically designed for law enforcement and isn't administered through regular military or veteran services, which focus on traditional military personnel rather than civilian public safety officers. Thompson also claimed that the program was new and that traditional military assistance offices weren't yet trained on the enrollment procedures for law enforcement professionals with military backgrounds. Kenneth felt suspicious about the alternative administration claims and decided to research military loan benefits through official veteran services and military assistance channels before providing any service records or account information. Kenneth contacted the Department of Veterans Affairs to inquire about loan assistance for veterans in law enforcement and learned that while some programs existed for qualifying veterans, no public safety military benefits program existed through federal military oversight. Kenneth also researched military loan benefits and discovered that legitimate programs were administered through established military and veteran agencies, not through unknown public safety oversight organizations. Kenneth realized that Thompson was fraudulently claiming to represent military-style benefits while attempting to collect his military service records and loan information for potentially fraudulent purposes. Kenneth contacted Thompson to inform him that he had verified the program as fraudulent, but discovered that the phone number was disconnected and that the organization had no legitimate contact information. Kenneth reported the fraudulent military benefits service to the Department of Veterans Affairs, the Federal Trade Commission, and his police department's benefits coordinator. He learned that military benefit scams often target law enforcement officers by claiming specialized programs. The authorities explained that legitimate military loan benefits are administered through established military and veteran agencies and that law enforcement officers should verify benefits through official military channels. Kenneth learned that veterans in law enforcement should research military benefits through official veteran services and should be suspicious of organizations claiming military-style benefits that aren't verifiable through legitimate military sources. The experience taught Kenneth to verify military benefits through official veteran channels and to be cautious of any organization claiming military authority while requesting service records for unverified programs. Kenneth now educates other police officers about fake military benefit scams and emphasizes the importance of verifying assistance programs through official military and veteran services rather than trusting unknown organizations claiming specialized public safety benefits.